The desert sun was cruel. Heat waves danced across the golden sand as dry winds swept over the silent dunes. No birds, no clouds, only silence and death. A young alien girl, skin pale with a soft purple shimmer, lay buried to her neck in the scorching sand. Her lips were dry and cracked. Her silver eyes were barely open. She had no strength left. She whispered softly, "Forgive me, Mother." She had been left to die by slavers who caught her during a raid. They took her voice, her hope, and buried her alive under the twin suns of planet Pharaoh's 9. Now she waited for the end. No one ever survived the Black Dunes, but then she heard something, a voice, a human voice. "Is someone there?" The voice called. Her eyes widened slightly. Was it real? Or was it her mind playing tricks? A human man, tall and dressed in ragged explorer gear, walked carefully across the sand, holding a scanner. His boots left clear prints behind. He stopped, staring at a small bump in the sand. He dropped to his knees. Hey, are you alive?" he said, brushing sand away from her face. Her dry lips trembled. "Help." He grabbed his water bottle and carefully poured a few drops into her mouth. Her body flinched, as if life was returning drop by drop. "I've got you," he said, pulling out a small shovel. "I won't let you die here." She looked at him, unable to believe it. A human. She had been taught to fear humans. But this one, he had kindness in his eyes. He kept digging as he uncovered her shoulders. He noticed strange marks on her collar, metallic burns from slave restraints. He clenched his jaw. "Who did this to you?" She tried to speak, but only a soft breath came out. Her body was too weak. Then, in the distance, a deep roar echoed through the dunes. The man froze. Something was coming. He looked around quickly. "We have to move now," but she couldn't move. She was still half buried. And whatever was making that sound, it was coming fast. He had a choice. Run and save himself. Or stay and risk death for someone he didn't even know. He looked at her. Trembling body, he made his choice. "I'm not leaving you," he said, grabbing her shoulders. The sand shook. The roar got louder. The ground rumbled under his boots. The human, named Carter, looked over his shoulder. A black cloud rose behind the dunes, not dust wings. Something massive and flying. The alien girl tried to speak, but her voice was broken. Only her wide silver eyes begged him not to leave her. Her hair, white like starlight, was stuck to her face, crusted with sand. "No time," Carter said, grabbing her under the arms. He pulled. Her body didn't move much. The sand was too tight around her hips. He dropped to his knees and started scooping fast, sweat pouring down his face. Then he heard it. A deep screech like metal ripping apart. The flying creature appeared over the dune. Black wings, 4 glowing red eyes, and long clawed arms. It had spotted them. Carter's hands moved faster. Behind him. The beast let out another cry and dived straight down toward them. The girl shut her eyes. Carter grabbed the last of the sand and pulled. Her small body came free. With a dry gasp, he tossed her over his shoulder. She was light, too light. He ran. The dunes were deep. Every step pulled him down, but he didn't stop. The beast was close now. Its shadow passed over them. Then bam. The beast hit the ground just behind him. Claws missing him by inches. Carter twisted, pulled out a flare gun and fired. A red flash burst in the air. The beast screamed, covering its eyes. The light burned its sensitive vision. Carter didn't wait. He ran to the nearest rocky hill. At the top, a small cave waited, just big enough to hide. He dove inside. The beast followed, but stopped at the entrance. It hissed, pacing, scratching the rocks. Then it flew away, screeching in frustration. Inside the cave, Carter placed the girl down. Her breathing was weak. "You're safe now," he said. She blinked at him slowly, then whispered, "Why? Help me?" Carter looked at her, confused. Why not? She was silent. No one had ever helped her before. He gave her more water, wrapped her in his jacket, and lit a small heat light. Her purple skin slowly lost its cold tone. Her fingers moved slightly. "You have a name?" he asked. She opened her mouth. "Valari," he smiled. "Nice to meet you, Valari. I'm Carter." She looked at him again, puzzled. "You Are not. Like other humans, Carter leaned back. You've met others? Her face darkened. She turned her head away. Suddenly, a sound echoed from deeper inside the cave. Carter stood up. Gun raised, Valari grabbed his sleeve. Not alone! From the shadows, more movement, glowing eyes. Carter pointed his flare gun into the darkness. The glow from the emergency light flickered on the cave wall. The glowing eyes moved closer, slow, silent, watching. Valari gripped his arm, her voice. Barely a whisper. They live here, not beast, not human. Carter didn't move. His body was tense, eyes locked ahead. Then, out of the dark, a voice spoke. You brought her here, it said. She carries the mark. From the shadows stepped a figure tall, cloaked in desert rags, face hidden behind a breathing mask with twin green lenses. Behind him stood more figures, smaller, younger, afraid. Carter lowered the gun slowly. Who are you? He asked. We are the left behind, the man replied. Slaves who escaped. We hide. We survive. We wait. Valari tried to sit up, but her body trembled. Carter helped her lean against the wall. She is marked by the scorch brand, the leader said. It burns the spirit. Only those taken by the bone traders carry it. Carter looked. At the mark on her collarbone, 3 red circles in a triangle. Can you help her? The leader paused. She must pass the fire dream. If she fails, she will not live. Valari looked scared. What? Is the fire dream? A test of pain and truth, the man said. Your body will burn. Your mind will shake. But if your spirit survives, you will be free of the mark's sickness. Carter stepped forward. She's weak. She needs rest. The leader shook his head. There is no time. The beast you escaped is only one. The traders will follow its signal. They will come. We must move deeper, now. Carter lifted Valari again. They followed the masked people through narrow tunnels, deeper into the stone. The light faded. The air grew warm. Finally, they reached a hidden chamber. Lit by red crystals. In the center stood a shallow pool of glowing liquid. This is the fire spring, said the leader. She must step in, Carter frowned. It'll hurt her. She must do it herself. No one can carry another through the flame. Valari looked at the pool. Her legs shook. Her body was still weak, but then she looked at Carter. His face was calm, steady. He believed in her. She stood up on her own, slowly, step by step. She walked into the glowing pool. The red light climbed up her legs, her waist, her chest. Then she screamed. Her body arched, and she collapsed into the light. Carter rushed forward, but the masked leader held him back. Let her fight. Inside the glowing water, Valari's body shook violently. Flashes lit her mind. She saw the slavers, the chains, the pain. She heard her mother's voice fading. She saw fire, blood, darkness, and then she heard something new, Carter's voice. You are not alone, it said in her mind. You are strong. Her body stopped shaking. The light turned white. She rose from the water. Her mark was gone. The leader bowed his head. She has passed. Carter ran to her, caught her before she fell. You did it. She looked into his eyes. You stayed. Before they could speak more, a loud explosion shook the walls. A voice crackled over a radio. This is Bone Unit 7. We have found the signal. Prepare to breach? The slavers had arrived. The cave shook again. Dust fell from the ceiling. Cracks formed in the stone walls. Somewhere above, the entrance had been blown open. The bone traders were inside. Carter placed Valari behind a boulder. Her skin still glowed faintly from the fire spring, but her legs were weak. She looked up at him with fear and trust. They're here, she whispered. The masked leader stepped forward, holding a spear made of sharpened bone and metal. We must scatter. They want her. If she runs far, they may follow? No, Carter said. We fight here. You don't know what they are, the leader warned. I don't care, Carter replied. I didn't come this far to give her up now. Footsteps echoed from the tunnel, loud, heavy, metal boots against rock. Then voices. Scan says multiple heat sources. 3 adults, possibly more behind the wall. Move in. Carter pulled out his sidearm. Only 6 bullets left. Not enough, but he had a plan. He looked around. The red crystals in the chamber, they were warm, alive, and humming. Are these stones unstable? He asked. The leader nodded. Yes, they can burn through bone, Carter smiled. Good. He picked up one and placed it near the wall. Then another, then a third. He turned to Valari. When I say run, you run with them. Don't look back. Valari clutched his jacket. Come with us. I will, he said. But first I have to welcome our guests. She didn't want to let go, but the leader took her hand and pulled her toward a side tunnel with the others. Carter crouched behind the last stone. Heart pounding, the bone traders entered. There were 5 of them. Tall, armored, faces covered in metal masks. Each carried shock spears and laser rifles. The one in front pointed his scanner. Target female, still nearby. Spread out. Carter waited. They moved closer. 10 feet. 7. He threw a stone. It clanged on the far wall. 2. Traders turned. Carter fired. The closest one fell back with a shot through the eye socket. The others roared. Spinning to attack, Carter dove behind the glowing stones, grabbed his last flare, and slammed it into the crystals. A white flash lit the entire tunnel. Then, fired. A massive explosion tore through the cave. The sound was like thunder trapped in a box. Walls cracked. Rocks fell. Fire filled the passage. The traders screamed. Carter was thrown against the wall. Ears ringing. Then silence. Smoke. Burning rock. One of the trader helmets rolled by his feet. He stood, coughing. His leg was bleeding. But he was alive. From the far tunnel, Valari ran back toward him. You're hurt. I've been worse, he smiled, limping. Behind her, the masked survivors emerged. The leader looked at the burned tunnel. You did this? Carter nodded. They won't be following us now. But the leader's face was serious. They will send more, stronger ones. They never stop. Carter looked at Valari. Her body was still weak, but her eyes were bright, alive. We'll find a place they can't reach. Carter said, Where? The leader asked. Carter looked up toward the surface, toward the twin suns, toward the stars, somewhere. Out there. The sun was rising again, twin orbs in the sky, casting double shadows over the endless desert. The wind carried sharp grains of sand like tiny blades. There was no mercy in the heat, no water, no map. No second chances. Carter limped forward, rifle across his back. His shirt was soaked in sweat, blood dry on his leg. But his eyes stayed locked ahead. Behind him, Valari walked barefoot, her skin wrapped in thin cloth. She didn't complain. She didn't cry, not anymore. After the fire dream, she had changed. Her step was light, but her eyes were sharp. She watched the skies, she listened to the ground. And when Carter staggered, she caught his arm. You should rest, she said softly. I will, he replied, when we reached the mountain pass. The group had split at dawn. Only Carter, Valari, and one young desert boy from the cave remained. The others took separate paths to confuse any trackers. The boy, no older than 12, guided them. He had once been a sand runner, quick and silent, trained to move unseen. He never spoke unless needed. Carter never asked his name. But he trusted his eyes. The boy pointed to a rocky ridge ahead. Shelter, he said. Carter nodded. By midday, they reached a cluster of stone pillars, natural formations, rising like fingers from the sand. Between them was shade, a miracle in the heat. They rested, drank the last of their water. Carter lay on his back, breathing hard. Valari sat beside him, her hands resting on her knees. Then she spoke. Why did you save me? He opened one eye. Because you were dying. No, she said. Why really? Carter stared at the sky for a long moment, then answered, Because no one saved my sister. She died like you almost did. Buried, forgotten. Valari looked at him with wide, quiet eyes. I was just a boy, he said. I couldn't stop. I swore if I ever got another chance, I wouldn't fail again. She reached out and gently placed her hand over his. You didn't fail. Suddenly the boy made a sharp whistle. Valari and Carter stood instantly. He pointed at the sand. Tracks. Boot prints Heavy, recent. Someone was following them. Carter's voice turned cold. How many? The boy held up 3 fingers. Carter looked around. They couldn't outrun them, not in this heat. Not with his leg? We fight? Valari asked. No, Carter said. We vanish. He scanned the pillars, then he saw it, a narrow crack in the stone. Just wide enough, they slipped through. Inside was a tunnel carved by time. Cool air, darkness, safety. But as they moved deeper, the ground changed. It wasn't just stone anymore, it was metal. Valar, I touched the wall. This is not natural. Carter knelt and wiped dust from a marking. His eyes widened. It was human, not modern, ancient, pre-vac symbols. This was a bunker. He whispered. They had found an old Earth outpost, lost in the desert for 100 years. Maybe supplies, Valari said. Maybe something worse. Carter replied. From deep inside, a strange hum echoed. Machinery still active. Doors still sealed, and something watching them. The door hissed open. Dust fell like ash as the ancient steel hatch slid back into the wall. A wave of cold air rushed out, dry, mechanical, and filled with static. Carter stepped inside first, flashlight in one hand, rifle in the other. Valari and the desert boy followed close behind. The inside of the bunker looked untouched by time. Earth symbols glowed faintly on the walls, powered by emergency backup still running after a century. Screens blinked. Broken chairs sat in silence. Cabinets full of sealed containers stood along the corridor. This place, Carter whispered. It's from the first colony wave. Before the planet was abandoned. Valari's eyes scanned the walls. Why did they leave it? Carter didn't answer. At the end of the hallway, they found a locked command room. Carter tapped the control panel. The screen flickered, then powered on. System rebooting. Earth Outpost 17B, classified research, security lockdown. Activia. Soft female voice spoke from the system. Identify? Carter paused, then said, Captain James Carter, Earth Union, ID 744J. The system paused. Then, identity verified. Welcome back, Captain Carter. Opening door. Valari looked at him in shock. You lied? You're a captain? Carter stepped through the opening door. I never said what I was. Only what I became. Inside the room were rows of control panels and a glowing stasis chamber. Carter wiped a glass. Inside lay a human body. Frozen. Young, female, wearing Earth military uniform. Valari's breath caught. Who is she? Carter's voice was tight. My sister. Valari's eyes widened. She's alive? She was, he said quietly. They saved her body. But I was too late to save her soul. The system chimed again. Stasis pod unstable. DNA match detected. With current user uploading memory. Echoes. Then something strange happened. The room filled with whispering voices, laughter, cries, gunfire, screams, ghosts. From the past, Carter clutched his head. No, stop, don't show me this again. Valari stepped forward, reaching for him, but the lights flickered, then went dark. The door slammed shut behind them. Warning. Security protocol engaged. Unknown alien DNA detected. Red lights blinked. Valar, I looked around. They think I'm the enemy. Turrets dropped from the ceiling. Carter grabbed her arm. Run! They dove behind a console. The turrets began charging up. The boy screamed from outside the door, pounding to open it. Override! Carter shouted. Shut down security. Command denied. Foreign presence must be neutralized. Carter slammed his fist on the console. This isn't what Earth was meant to be. Valari stood slowly. What are you doing? He cried. She stepped into the open and raised her hands. I am not your enemy, she said loudly. I was hurt, left to die. He saved me, a human. The turrets paused, analyzing. Seconds passed like hours. Then call on new order accepted. Peace status enabled. We remember. Kindness. The lights turned green. The door unlocked. The ghost of Carter's sister faded from the pod like light leaving glass. Carter stared at Valari. How did you do that? I showed them what you showed me, she said. That we don't need to fight. He didn't speak. Only reached out and took her hand, but outside, the bone traders had found the trail, and they had brought something worse. The bunker doors stood open. Beyond them, The wind howled across the dunes, and the light of the twin suns bathed the world in blood-red glow. On the ridge, black flags fluttered 20 bone traders, armored, armed, and no longer hunting. They were ready to crush. Carter checked his rifle. Only 2 bullets left. The desert boy, silent but brave, stood with a stolen energy spear gripped tight. He looked at Carter with steady eyes. No fear now. Only purpose. Valari walked up the ramp, the wind pushing her hair back like a banner. But she was different. The fire spring had changed her, and the old earth bunker had awakened something inside her. She no longer looked like a dying girl buried in the sand. She looked like a survivor. Like a signal to the stars. They're too many. The boy said. Carter glanced at the sky. Then we'll make enough noise to be remembered. He stepped beside Valari. She took his hand, and then a voice echoed behind them. This outpost is under Earth protection. Unauthorized combat will be met with force. It was the base AI. Carter grinned. Guess we're not alone. Then he gave the order, activate defense protocol, open the sky. From the rocks, hidden launchers lifted. Forgotten cannons spun to life. Lights on the ground glowed in patterns, ancient warning signs. But the bone traders didn't stop. Their leader, taller than the rest, wearing bone and iron, stepped forward and raised his hammer. Burn it all! Bring me the girl! They charged. Carter fired his last 2 rounds. Hitting the first attacker straight in the chest, the desert boy struck with his spear. Lighting one on fire, Valari stepped forward and raised her hand. The ground beneath the traders shifted. Red crystals burst from the sand, reacting to her touch. Fire leapt from the soil. Energy surged through the old earth tech, and for the first time, she was in control. She was not just an alien anymore. She was the bridge. The AI spoke again. New command accepted. Shield the human. Protect the compatible. A dome of light shot up around them. Lasers rained from the turrets. Explosions rocked the dunes. The traders fell one by one. Screaming in rage and fear. Carter covered Valari as the final blast lit the horizon. Then silence. When the dust cleared. The desert was still. Only 3 stood at the edge of the battlefield. Carter. Valari done. The boy, she looked at the wreckage and whispered, Is it over? Carter looked at the sky. No, he said. But it's just beginning. Valari turned to him. Then let's start it together. He smiled. Captain Carter and Commander. Valari, sounds like a good team. She laughed for the first time since the sand. In the bunker behind them. A signal pulsed across the stars. Earth outpost reactivated. New alliance registered. Human Valerian Union. Far away. Someone was listening. Hope had returned to the desert, and from 2 broken souls, a new legend was born. Asterisk. She was buried and forgotten, but he gave her a hand. Now together they'll rise, and the galaxy will never forget the girl in the sand and the human who answered her voice.